Ford on Mormon Trek. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike Zekeys for cars. GT Car and his crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Supple's Flowers, the home of 1-800-800-ROSE. The Midtown Family Restaurants. Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Diamond Dreams Sports Academy. Senior Benefits, Premier Automotive in North Liberty. The Oxyoke Inn in the Amanas. Streets Maintenance, doing plumbing and remodeling. Also, Dr. Lance Forbes, Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids, and Big Dog Tech Solutions. Here's Tom Suter, along with Pat Harty from HawkFanatic.com, and Coach Don Patterson is on the line with us.
All right, well, Coach Patterson, good to have you back again. Talk about the spring football festivities that we all partook in on Saturday. So how things going, Donnie?
Everything seems to be going well, Tom. I appreciate it. I did enjoy watching the spring game. You see a lot of new faces, and of course, I wish their names were on the back of their jerseys, because sometimes it's a little difficult to figure out who's exactly wearing which jersey.
Yes.
Luckily, we had. Next time you go, Don, you should get a program. Matt White's or the SID or whatever, they have programs, and they had most of the numbers. There were a couple phantom numbers that I wasn't sure of, but yeah, without numbers it would be tough, especially with all the new receivers and what have you. But Don, we were talking earlier, you said you kind of liked the athleticism of the receivers from what little we saw Saturday. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, one thing that's encouraging to me, I thought as a general rule, we threw the ball better down the field. Our vertical passing game was better, and one reason I can say that is we had some really good catches, not routine catches, difficult plays that were to be made, and I'm trying to think of who made them all.
Number 7, Dayton Howard made a really nice.
I know that Howard made some, and then there's another young guy, help me out, who was...
Caden Weechin made a nice one.
Yeah, was it not Jalen Watson's defense? Was it K.J. Parker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. K.J. Parker, he had a really nice leaping catch.
Mm-hmm.
And also Dayton Howard had a really nice catch. You might even call a couple of them truly outstanding catches. You know, the ball was a little bit off target, and yet they still made the play.
Yeah.
And that's what you look for, of course, is a guy that can bail you out sometime with a marginal throw. The ball's not exactly where you want it to be, and yet the receiver still adjusts to it and makes a nice grab. And we saw that out of both those young men on Saturday, so that's encouraging.
Yeah, and of course Sam Phillips wasn't dressed. He wasn't in uniform. He was out, and I don't believe Jarrett Bowie. So there were some good receivers that they're going to rely on that didn't practice. I think receiver-wise, at least on paper, they're okay. I mean, I'm actually, Don, like I was telling you, I'm more concerned about linebacker than I am wide receiver, because I mean the linebackers have, you know, I know they're good kids and they've been working and developing, but Don, none of them have hardly played on scrimmage plays.
Yeah, I think you're right. And one of the keys, of course, to having good linebacker play is for your defensive line to do a good job of keeping the linebackers clean.
Good point.
And I think last year that's something that's overlooked. We had excellent play at linebacker, of course, last fall. But one of the reasons we did is because our linemen did a good job of tying up two blockers sometimes.
Especially Y.A. Black. He was really good at that.
Going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, yep.
Yeah, so I think you're right. Linebackers are unproven. They did make a good name for themselves as a group on special teams. And, of course, that's where it all starts. I remember
is that on his end or ours?
In the day, we would always know who the next up-and-coming defenders were based on how they performed on coverage.
Don, I'm going to...
Dave Strobel. Dave Strobel ended up being a really good player for us.
I don't know what the problem is.
Hey, Don, we're having technical something's wrong.
Don, I'm going to call you back.
We got a bad connection all of a sudden.
Okay.
So whatever wonderful things you just said.
Say it again.
Yeah, say it again when we get back to you. Yeah, so that was not good.
It was fine for...
Well, it was fine at first, but then things went south.
I don't know if he's going to be able to do an hour in the fall with his voice.
Well, we're on the air as we speak, so.
So yeah, I mean well, it was weird though. It was fine, and then all of a sudden it just went.
I know. Well, he had some technical difficulties.
How would you describe the sound?
What?
How would you describe the sound? It was
Garbled.
yeah. And you think it's on his end?
I think so. We'll find out. We'll see how Cap does here. Have we tried it yet, Cap?
Is he back on?
Yeah, he's back.
All right.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay.
All right. Good, Coach.
Okay. Now, yeah. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. All of a sudden, you were fine, and then it just became garbled. But okay, we were talking about the receivers, right? I mean, and and the linebackers, and I will say, Don, I did interview. I interviewed Carson Shard. They're aware of what's out there. They know that they're skeptics and that the linebacker position is suspect now. But they're like, hey, there's nothing we can do about that. We just got to go out and show that we can do it. I mean, show that we can carry on the standard of linebacker play here at Iowa, and that's really all they can do at this stage.
Right, and as I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you got through. Oftentimes, you know who the next great players on defense are by the fact that they perform well on coverage units.
Yeah.
In the kicking game, and certainly Carson's a guy that comes to mind that always did an excellent job covering kicks and punts.
Yeah, he has been. And Jay Higgins was the same way. He did that for a couple of years, and then now, 2 years ago, we were sitting here talking about Jay Higgins the same way we're talking about Carson Shard.
That's
right. They could end up being the picking up where Jay left off. Now, that's going to be tough. Jay set a really high bar. But, Don, what did you think of Jackson Stratton and Hank Brown? They took a majority of the snaps. Just your thoughts.
Well, one thing I couldn't help but notice, I think probably if you want to decide who had the most snaps in the entire scrimmage, I shouldn't call it a scrimmage, entire practice, probably was Stratton.
Yeah.
It seemed like 19 had more snaps than anyone. And I don't know what that means. It may not mean that much. But the thing that came to mind for me, it might suggest that Tim Lester's got a lot of faith in both number 2 and number 3. Mm-hmm. The fact that number 3 got more snaps than number 2, I wouldn't want to read too much into it. But I think it is safe to say a lot of those good pass completions we were talking about were balls that were thrown by Jackson Stratton.
Yeah.
They certainly weren't all by Hank. I think that Hank does have really good promise. I had a chance to meet him after practice, and I'm impressed with him as a young person. He's a really solid prospect for the days ahead. Not hard to imagine that he might be a really solid starter in the fall of 26 after another year of seasoning. And hopefully that means, of course, that our guy from South Dakota State's healthy throughout the entire season. I hope Mark has a great season. I do think he certainly has a chance to do that. And I know there are a lot of skeptics about FCS football, but I'll just remind everybody, I know this, when I first got to Western, one thing I told the players then, I said, the bad news, guys, I can't help you get to Pasadena. I've been doing that for the last 20 years, is helping Iowa players realize their football goals by playing in the Rose Bowl. But if we can make it to the national championship game, you're going to think it's Pasadena because it's a big deal. Mm-hmm. The stadium might only seat 30,000, depending on where they're playing the game, but there are millions watching on TV. A national championship's at stake. And, of course, as you know, Mark Gronowski's done a good job in those games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even last year when they got eliminated, I watched the entire game against North Dakota State, and North Dakota State beat them. But Mark still played just fine.
Yeah, he did.
And let's not forget, the guy taking snaps for North Dakota State, he got drafted in the 6th round.
He did, Cam Miller. Somebody was saying the last somebody from Iowa to get drafted is it Sage Rosenfels back in 2001?
Wow.
I don't know. I'm asking. Somebody reached out to me and asked that's what they were told. Do you know, Don? Is that the last Iowa-born quarterback to get drafted?
Gosh, I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Working some of those years.
I can't think of anybody.
I can't either.
Where's Brock Purdy from?
Arizona.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got the Rubleys. I don't know if any one of them got drafted.
But Beathard was not drafted. I thought maybe he went late.
Who?
Beathard.
CJ?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he's from Tennessee.
Yeah.
We're talking
I'm
about
sorry?
he's from Tennessee. This was about the last time somebody from Iowa,
The state of
the
Iowa.
state of Iowa was.
State of Iowa, I got you.
Yeah, Cam Miller, and somebody said they think it goes all the way back to Sage Rosenfels, and if it does, that's incredible.
So how was Cam not recruited by anybody?
In fairness, this is all hindsight. I wasn't questioning why. I thought Cam Miller was a very good all-around high school athlete. He was good baseball, and I did think he could play college football. Did I think he was a Big Ten quarterback? No, and I wasn't alone. Nobody was. But to me, that's just one of those things where Cam developed more than any. Sometimes you miss. I mean, you know, Don. Sometimes you undervalue, you overvalue, and coaches just missed on him. But in fairness, he developed a lot more than I think people thought it was possible, and it just happens. Can you comment on that, Don? I'm not going to blame Iowa and every other FCS Power 5 program that overlooked Cam Miller, because everyone did it.
Yeah, let me just remind you of this. You've heard me mention this name before. The name is Randy Hedberg. Randy Hedberg coaches those quarterbacks at North Dakota State. And I'll remind you, there are any number of North Dakota State quarterbacks that have gone on to play in the NFL. So our guy from Solon benefited from great coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And that had something to do with his development, I promise you.
Oh, I'm sure, yes, without question. And he ended up just being better than I think people envisioned. He was really good at Solon, but yeah, I mean, Iowa, I'm wondering if maybe they asked him to walk on. I don't know. But, no, he was a really good all-around athlete, played for his dad, won a lot of games. But it's a really cool story. And that was the thing missing from Saturday, Don, was the fact that we couldn't watch Gronowski.
Sure.
I mean, that's the one missing thing. I still haven't seen him play other than a few snaps on TV. Did you watch that? Did you watch a lot of tape of him? Did you see him a lot on TV?
Well, I actually worked one of his games for TV. Back in the fall of 22. I was impressed with him then. He was only a sophomore, and he was coming off an injury then, as I recall. That was the same month that he played in Kinnick against Iowa.
Yes.
Now, we beat him, of course, as you recall, but it was a struggle.
Oh, God, was
but
it?
we certainly didn't have much trouble in defending South Dakota State's offense that day.
Oh, no, they did nothing. He even joked about that.
Mark was a young quarterback then. Of course, he was a sophomore at the time. But just a few weeks later, at the end of September, I did a game that he played in at Missouri State. It was 90 degrees at kickoff. It was a solid Missouri State team.
Mm-hmm.
And I did recall that he played well. I went back and looked at the stats. He was 22 for 29 that day for 319 yards. What impressed me more, the game was 14-14 going into the fourth quarter, and Mark took him down the field not once but twice. Final score was 28-14. Mark had 4 touchdown passes as a sophomore.
Okay.
And by the way, that Missouri State team was coached by a guy named Bobby Petrino, and he knows a little bit about football too.
That's right. Okay, yeah, that was after he had been at Louisville, right? Or was it before?
I believe he'd been at Arkansas too, somewhere in there, right? Didn't he have a on a motorcycle?
Yeah, he had something.
Yes.
Something happened on a motorcycle. I can't remember exactly what it was.
I don't even want to know.
But it was. That's interesting. Well, obviously the thing with Gronowski is he can run and throw. Now, if you're Iowa, and Don is a former coordinator, yeah, you want him to run, but you don't want him to run a lot, right? I mean, because that's the risk of injury. You want him to run when he has to. But I think
you're right. I doubt that we'll have very many designed running plays for Mark. Quarterbacks take enough hits anyway, just the nature of the game. But the good news, if Mark has to move to extend plays, he's capable of moving.
Exactly.
He runs okay. I don't want to try to confuse him with some of the best, most mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. He's not quite that good, but he's good enough to extend plays.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And maybe more importantly, he understands when to pull the ball down and then press the line of scrimmage. And he's not just going to automatically become a runner. He's still going to look to throw the ball before he gets to the line of scrimmage. That's the way you keep pressure on a defense, of course, is that even though you pull the ball down, you're extending the play, but they're still not sure that you might not pull up and throw it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And then afterwards, it was interesting. Kirk, unsolicited, just kind of went off on the fact that settlement, the judge in Oakland, she, for now, she declined to approve that settlement. So they're kind of in limbo. Now you're hearing that maybe walk-ons who were already on the team can be grandfathered in. The problem with Iowa is Kirk was up front and transparent and honest with these guys back in December saying, hey, we're not going to have a roster spot for you. So they moved on, and they're gone. He lost 4 or 5 guys. That would help with depth and what have you. But, Don, just Kirk's very frustrated with the uncertainty because now with this judge putting this stuff basically on hold, nobody has any clue what's going to go on with rosters, and we're almost into May.
And what's terribly unfair, the teams that might benefit are the teams that did not consider the players as they should.
No.
Kirk did the right thing. Kirk was honest with them, and he let them know what their odds were for the fall, and some of them, as a result, of course, decided to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Other schools kept them around and kept them in the dark and trying to figure out how they're going to cut to 105. And now all of a sudden, at the 11th hour, we hear that they might not have to make that kind of cut.
Well,
it's unfair.
And the judge ruled that to limit roster to a certain amount is unfair to the student athletes because it puts them at risk. But okay, to me, I can't believe stuff like this hasn't been settled and discussed. Where this just seems like a bombshell dropped really late. Like, I don't know. It just seems like there's no
There's no control.
There's no control or structure over any of this stuff. I understand what the judge is saying. Yes, that is going to limit participation. It is going to hurt. It is going to affect some athletes' ability to participate. But we already knew that coming in. I mean, that's what I don't get.
Right. Yeah. Kirk took it to mean it's a done deal. We got to cut to 105, and we need to give these guys a chance to land on their feet somewhere else. If they don't project to be in the 105, we need to let them know. That's the kind of open and honest communication that a coach should have with his players.
Yeah, so it is interesting that one judge can hold this up like that, but that's the way the system works. And I mean, what do you think's going to happen, Don? What do you think eventually they're going to have to come up with something at some point this summer?
Yeah, you would think somehow it's going to be decided sooner rather than later. But I don't know. I mean, and Kirk himself says, I'm not sure how this is all going to play out. We're just going to have to react to what happens when it happens.
Yeah, I'm going to look.
It's unfortunate, though, because it's not fair.
No, I mean, it's not. And I will give Kirk and his staff credit. They did it the right way, to be upfront and honest with these guys and transparent, to give them a chance
100%.
to relocate. They did it the right way because they were under the impression that once this settlement is agreed upon in April, then they're going to have to limit their roster to 105. And now it appears that may not be the case. So it's just, let's see. Here's what Kirk said. None of us still don't know what the rules are moving forward. I don't want to say it's frustrating, but it's pretty indicative of the last couple of years, and hopefully semi-optimistic that all this stuff will get settled at some point. And hopefully by July 1st, we'll know what the hell we're doing here moving into the season. Just a little side commentary, but not much you can do about it. We'll just see where it goes. And here's what the judge, it was U.S. District Judge Claudia Wilkin in Oklahoma. She said the provision of the settlement that would eliminate cap numbers of student athletes named to rosters, including 105 for football, was unfair to some of the members of the class action. I get that, but why hasn't this been settled and dealt with earlier? That I don't get. And she said a significant number of student athletes would lose their roster spots under the settlement terms. Oh, duh, yeah.
It's already happened.
We already knew
some
that.
places.
The judge also gave suggestions about how to resolve the issues to the benefit of, but that's little consolation to Kirk. It's too late. I guess I just don't understand the lack of communication. To me, somebody representing college football should have known that a judge might rule this way, don't you think? And
well, it's amazing to me that a district judge might have that kind of power.
Well, they do, and more than just sports. We're seeing that in politics. You know how much a judge can do, but that's not my question. Is why didn't the NCAA or the people handling the college, why didn't they know that this was a potential pitfall? Why didn't they have this dealt with before?
They haven't been dealing with hardly anything.
No, now all of a sudden this judge comes up and says, "Hey, you're cutting these roster spots. This isn't fair."
No, and it isn't.
Well, Kirk knew that back in December.
That's what bothers me is the leadership of the NCAA should be the ones to be able to head this kind of problem off.
And they have to, and they're not proactive in the slightest.
And I get what
Right.
the judge is doing, because what she is really, it is taking away roster spots.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. It's just such a mess.
Frustrating.
It is frustrating. I sympathize with Kirk in this case, because, and I had a couple. Oh yeah, he's going to miss that third string tight end. These guys provide depth. I mean, they're part of the team, and I mean, someone like Johnny Pascuzzi played a lot.
He participated, and he helped.
Max White played a lot on special teams. These guys helped.
People don't realize how many of those. I don't know what the travel squad is nowadays. Maybe on the high end, I think it might be 75. It's certainly at least 70 players. Every time we go on the road, we take 70 or more players, and the vast majority of those guys do play in the game. It just takes a lot. It takes a lot of players to win a football game. Backups do play, as you know they do. They play a lot, and they play significant roles. We're gonna have running backs by committee. We're gonna have more than just a few receivers that play in a football game. More than a few. I don't doubt that. Now some of them are gonna move up the depth chart ahead of others, and those guys are going to get the majority of the playing time. But let's not forget, a lot of these games are played under difficult conditions, and injuries are always a factor. And you need a solid bench. You need good twos and threes, because you're not going to win with just the starters.
Well, and
they're not going to all stay healthy.
And I still think you need walk-ons. Just look recently. Kyler Fisher was one of their top linebackers. Quinn Schulte, starting safety, was a walk-on. That's what's going to be taken away. And again, that's what I think this judge is recognizing. But the lack of communication and just I don't know. When I saw that, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That this is the.
Here's a comment that Kirk made that surprised me. Kirk commented in his years here at Iowa, and I think he was just talking about his years as a head coach. He mentioned, to his recall, there were 8 different captains
walk-ons
that began their career as walk-ons.
Yes.
Guys do earn scholarships, and not only that, they end up leading the team in so many cases.
Dallas Clark. I mean, he was a walk-on under you guys. Now he came to you guys as a walk-on.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So Dallas.
There are a lot of success stories, and that's what the great developmental programs do.
Yes.
And I would classify Iowa as one of those programs.
Yes, and this new settlement will take that away, and I think that judge saw that. And again, I know I sound like a broken record. She saw it, and she's like, "Oh, wait, this isn't fair."
Right.
But
why didn't somebody in the sport of football figure that out
and say, "Hey, we're going to have we're heading down the wrong path here, because sooner or later a judge is going to shut this down." This should have been known. This shouldn't have came out of left field, is what I'm saying. But it did. So, but okay, let's get back to the Hawks. I mean, now, Don, they go into the off season, and Kirk was stressing how important the off season is. But things are a lot different. When you came up to Iowa back in the late 70s, didn't most of the players still go home for the summer?
Most of the players do what? I'm sorry.
Didn't they still go home for the summer?
Absolutely.
Yeah, now it's year-round, and I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, but it's so – because I remember your guys' first year, that was my brother's first summer. I remember he went home for the summer, worked a job, and then talked to his position coach maybe 3-4 times a week. But comment on how different it is now, because now these guys maybe get like a week, 2 weeks to go away, but this is year-round now. And do you think that's good for college football, that it has become a year-round job for these guys?
Yeah, even in our 20 years at Iowa, in the 80s, I think a lot of guys stayed in town. That's true, but a lot of guys did go home, and we were simply hamstrung back in the 80s. You had to find summer jobs for the guys.
Yes.
You had to help them to find summer jobs because otherwise they couldn't afford to be here. And oftentimes nowadays, of course, they are allowed to go to summer school, which is a good thing because it means they can carry a little lighter academic load in the fall because they're in summer school. They're pricing here, but at least they're able to, to pay some bills with the money that the university is able to provide them for summer school. And as a result of that, you're right. Players never get out of shape nowadays, ever.
No.
They're simply busy throughout the year, and even in the summer. They'll have a little break here and there, but not very long. As you know, when June rolls around, they're going to be, the vast majority of them are going to be right back here going to summer school. That's true. In so many cases, taking classes, but also, of course, preparing for the fall and preparing as a unit for the fall.
Yeah, it's just amazing how different it is now.
It's completely
compared to when I was young and when my brother. Yeah, it's just amazing. But well, Don, before we wrap, I wanted the NFL draft. Obviously, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are very interested in Hawkeye football. I mean, I think Caleb Johnson will be a great fit for them. Then they got Y.A. Black, and then who was Sebastian Castro signed as a free agent with the Steelers. I mean, I've done some reading. There's talk that Caleb may be the starter there.
Yeah, he fits in real well with their offense.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think I think they've had a history of preferring good-sized backs, and of course, they've had some backs bigger than Caleb even. But Caleb's big enough. He's able to compete even on Sunday. I have confidence in his ability to do that. I think it's kind of neat that they get to wear almost the same uniform they wore in college.
Yeah.
Very similar, yeah. And I do think that the culture that the Steelers have is very much like the culture we have.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin, obviously he's recognized as one of the better coaches in the NFL, just simply by virtue of the fact that he's had his job for quite a while.
Yeah, very respected.
And the results have been pretty darn good. Otherwise, he wouldn't have it. So I do think that that's a good place for him. And of course, I couldn't help but notice, correct me if I'm wrong, the Steelers also, to my knowledge, maybe the Steelers, maybe almost all their picks came from the Big Ten.
Most of them, yeah.
I thought that was very interesting.
Very Big Ten heavy. Yep.
Yeah. So I think one reason, let's face it, playing in Pittsburgh is a little bit different than playing in San Diego.
No, that's a good point, yeah.
Or Miami. So, our guys, of course, they're not concerned with winter weather.
No.
Because they've played in it in college and they can do it again in the pros.
One last thing. Phil Parker made a point on Wednesday of saying T.J. Hall has emerged.
He had quite a hit, didn't he?
He did. He's their number one defensive back right now. He's kind of their bell cow guy, right? And that's got to make you proud, Don. You're the one that led the recruitment of him, got the two him connected with Iowa, and no, right now they're saying he is the guy that he has emerged. He's by far the number one cornerback.
I'm proud of TJ. Yeah, he's a good young man. As you know, I've coached his dad in college, and TJ, I remember at the time saying, if he catches like his dad, we might even play him at receiver. He's and I think TJ does have good hands.
He does.
Had great hands.
Yeah.
His dad. And some of his dad's best games were in the biggest games. I'm talking about playing against LSU when they were such a great team and won the national title. He had a solid game against LSU, had a solid game at Montana in the playoffs, had a solid game in 10 inches of snow in Colgate when they beat us 28-27. If we could have played the game in the Courier Dome at Syracuse, we'd have beaten them by 3 touchdowns. And we're the one team maybe they could have beaten Delaware that year. And the sad part, we didn't get to play them. We had to play in a blizzard at Colgate. And Colgate played them in the championship and lost by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm proud of TJ. He's done a good job. And let's not forget, let's give a lot of credit to Phil Parker because TJ's been the beneficiary of some really good coaching.
Yes, he has.
As all those DBs are. So I do feel better about our back end. We're still concerned, but let's face it, I believe Xavier's ready to play well. It does sound like Xavier's going to be our strong safety, not our free safety.
Yeah, he's going to be the strong, and then Cohen Intringer will be the free, and then Zach Lutmer's going to be in there. I think they'll be okay in the secondary. I don't think it's going to be a weakness. But I think Wamka's got to step up.
Our guy from South Dakota, obviously they didn't recruit him to sit on the bench.
No.
He's got one to play one. And I don't know how he's going to figure in, but I do know this. It means we have 3 guys that come to mind that actually have a fair amount of experience at corner. Shahid Barros, I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, Deshaun Lee and
I believe
TJ.
he's a 3-year starter at South Dakota.
I think he'll be the starter here,
He
too.
had good numbers. And obviously he's only got one to play one. But he's going to compete with TJ, and he's going to compete with our other corner, Deshaun.
Yeah.
And you know, at least we're going to have a third corner that's played quite a bit of football. And I say that maybe one of these other young corners is going to pass them up. I know Jalen Watson and Rashad Godfrey are another couple of guys that get reps at corners. That's 5 guys that I think the coaches have some comfort level with to play corner.
I agree.
Obviously, we need 2 of them to be able to do it at a championship level. And hopefully we'll get that done with that group of 5.
Yeah, I think Burrows is going to come in and play. I'm not saying he's going to start every game, but he's not coming here to sit on the bench. He's going to come here and play, and it wouldn't surprise me if he started opposite TJ, and then maybe Deshaun Lee rotates in. But TJ has separated himself, and he's a senior, so it's, he's got a lot riding on this coming season. But, hey, Don, great stuff as usual, and like I said, I'll keep in touch this spring and summer, and maybe we'll do a summer, if some news getting closer to like Big Ten kickoff, which is in like mid-July now. It's getting early. Now it's in Las Vegas this year too. But we'll do this again, and but thanks for coming on. And Tom, you got anything else?
I don't, Donnie. We always appreciate your input and your insight, and look forward to another big season with you and the Hawks coming up.
I appreciate it, guys. Let me leave you with one last thought. One reason I'm optimistic about the fall, we all know our schedule is more difficult than it's been. But one thing that has not changed, our culture is still really good, and culture does matter. So the thing I saw in watching practice, I saw the previous Saturday practice, and then saw the spring practice, of course, from Saturday. But the attitude is right. The coaches do a good job of guaranteeing that attitude is right, and you have to give credit to the leadership within the team. Guys understand it's a serious business to represent Iowa in football, and I don't doubt for a second the guys this fall are going to do it to the very best of their ability. They recognize the schedule's challenging, but I just flash back on this. Some of our most rewarding seasons were against tougher schedules than what we normally see. Sometimes you have that in football.
Yeah, you do.
And let's face it, I do think Kirk understands how you have to recruit from a transfer standpoint. And it's a little bit like Indiana. Let's not forget, Indiana had great success with some transfers. Mostly they came with their old coach, but with some guys that were not recruited out of high school to play in the Big Ten. And yet so many of those guys played well for Indiana last year. Indiana had a great season. Another example, it also translates to basketball. The thing that Drake did last year in basketball is significant. And, of course, I don't doubt that those guys that played for Drake last year will come over here and play well for us, in part because they understand each other and they understand their coaches.
Yeah.
So that's all a plus. Our guys are going to compete well in the fall. And I know they're excited about it, and I know we are too.
Well, hopefully you're right. And but I'm going to enjoy the rest of my spring and summer before I start thinking of the fall. But hey, Donnie,
thanks, Coach.
Great stuff, and I'll be in touch.
Sounds great, guys.
All right.
Take care.
All right, take care. All right, and we're right perfectly at break time here, so we'll be right back.
Iowa City Landfill will be closing today at 11. Iowa City Landfill closing today at 11.
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember,
for a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Hertine and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site, so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Hertine and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HertineandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
We've said it for years. We want to give you our best price or most competitive price up front, and now Ford's brought that to the table.
Just makes you feel good.
Patrick Eads and Terry Adams with Deary Ford.
It's a true Ford employee pricing plan.
As if you work for Ford or you're a retiree from Ford.
You could walk in and buy a new Ford for less money than I could purchase one for.
I have never seen Ford do a sale like this.
The From America for America event through June 2nd.
Shop Deary Ford, Iowa City.
When we say here for you, we mean it.
It's a great deal.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare questions, anything having to do with Medicare? I take care of all Medicare customers, people under 65. I also do life insurance, long-term care, cancer insurance. I'm here to help you navigate any questions that you may be having or frustrations and anxiety that you may have with Medicare or insurance in general. Give me, Tiffany Rao, a call at 319-631-4795.
GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit suples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246. When you go to a family restaurant, you want three things. One, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. Two, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And three, you want to be treated like family. You get all three at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches, and special ribeye and shrimp nights. Daily specials at each location, and no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at midtownfamily.com. The family's waiting for you.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy, 20,000 square foot indoor facility, holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
This is Leah Pesha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
Dear U of I, just a note to let you know if you're ever thinking about selling Kinnick Stadium or Carver Hawkeye Arena, please consider Hawkeye Title and Settlement. We're here to provide efficient, high-quality real estate title and closing services. Signed, Hawkeye Fan Forever, and send. Hi, this is Steve Anderson with Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Whether it's a large commercial property or if you're buying your first home, remember we're here to help. Hawkeye Title and Settlement Services of Iowa City. You'll love our team just like you love the Hawks.
Are you tired of living in a home that doesn't quite meet your needs? Then it's time to call the experts at Streets Maintenance. Their team of skilled professionals specializes in renovations and remodeling, transforming your home into the space you've always dreamed of. From kitchen and bath remodels to complete home renovations, no job is too big or too small. Streets Maintenance will work with you every step of the way to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So don't wait any longer. Call Streets Maintenance to schedule your consultation at 400-4483. Let's start building your dream home today.
You take great care to maintain your home or business inside and out. But maybe, just maybe, there's something missing. Something that makes your home stand out among the others in your neighborhood. Something that makes your business pop and increases traffic. Something that you can change and customize at your command. Well, there's a solution, and that's Illuminlight's permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Illuminlights provides illumination for every occasion. Holiday lighting, accent lights, security, and of course lighting for all your favorite sports. The Illuminlights app lets you create your own patterns with color, motion, brightness, and static control over every individual light, or use Big Dog's presets to transform your home or business. The professionally installed track system makes Illuminlight's LEDs virtually disappear until you turn them on. Rated at 50,000 hours, you'll enjoy stress-free convenience for years to come. For more information about Illuminlight's permanent outdoor lighting, go to BigDogTEK.net or give them a call at 319-395-0800. That's 319-395-0800.
The Oxyoke Inn is ready to serve you with the same fresh food, prepared to order and served with a passion that you've come to expect since 1940. Serving our famous Sunday brunch buffet with lunch, dinner, family-style banquets, and carry-out daily. Reservations are easy at oxyokin.com or call for big or small tables and private rooms. We can't wait to serve you soon at the Oxyoke Inn.
The Oxyoke Inn.
In the heart of Amana.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
We are keeping an eye on the possibility of a few strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon into this evening, and we're talking all different kinds of severe weather, from hail to wind gusts to tornadoes. It's important that you remain weather aware later today through this evening. We'll have the latest right here. Otherwise, it's going to be warm and breezy, up to 82 today. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, cooler in the upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Current temp 62.
KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply, kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
Again, the Iowa City landfill will be closing today at 11 due to the winds.
Yeah, it's going to be windy.
Yeah, it already is.
It already is windy.
Yeah.
17 to 20 mile an hour winds.
That was a good song by the association.
Yeah.
Everybody loves, what's the name, Windy?
Everyone knows it's windy.
Terrible song.
Wonderful song. Maybe the best recorded ever.
How about those brownies or those cupcakes?
Those cupcakes.
I had one.
Aren't those awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ann does a great job.
I had one even with Hunter saying he licked them all. I didn't believe him. Because I think you'd see the frosting would be ruffled a little bit.
Yeah.
Those are delicious.
Those are very
I could eat the rest of them. My only complaint is they're a little small.
It's a cupcake.
I've seen bigger cupcakes. I just think Ann, next time she needs to think size.
Step it up.
The dumbest thing, I think, that we had people come in when we were in Coralville, came in from that cupcake cooking place.
Uh-huh.
And they brought us these cupcakes that looked exactly like Hostess cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, these are exactly like Hostess cupcakes. And we ate them, and they were, and they're $5 a cupcake. Where you could get a Hostess cupcakes for like 2 of them for $1.29.
Yeah, I was never into those that much. The creamy stuff inside. Yeah. And don't they have what are the things that Hostess not ding? You know the thing they're like.
Ding dongs?
They look like Tostito. They're chocolate Tostito. You know, shaped like a Tostito. What are those? Are those ding dongs? No.
Shaped like a what?
They're like shaped like a. You know, it's just a chocolate roll up. You know,
ding dongs.
Ding dongs are more like cupcakes.
Yeah, they're like a hockey puck.
I didn't like the chocolate ones.
The ho-hos. They're the little.
Oh yeah, ho-hos.
Aren't they like a little?
Yeah, wrapped up.
Wrapped up and shaped like a little tube.
But I mean,
I never really liked any of that.
She made like this was the greatest thing. And it was like $5 a cupcake.
Uh-huh. I like the Twinkies.
Yeah, I never did. Wasn't much for just because of the cream stuff inside.
And banana flips were good.
Eesh.
Yeah, those aren't bad.
I like those things out there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they're better than
cupcakes are fantastic.
No, they are really good. Just like I said,
She
a little
could
small.
sell those for $5 a cupcake.
I think she's teasing by keeping them small like that. She's kind of teasing you a little bit. You want another one after that? I actually want 2 or 3 more after that. The one didn't suffice. I need more.
All right, $5 a piece. Just give me.
Yeah.
You do that. There's
Jack
20. There's $25 in there right now.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's good to talk to Donnie again. I didn't realize that he had been at the spring practice, and but yeah, and I agree with him. I did see some encouraging signs from the wide receivers, but again, it's spring practice. I mean, I wasn't charting plays.
I was not there, but I read how
great everything is.
Great as this season's going to be.
Yep. Somebody I heard has them winning 17 games. I don't know how they're going to do. I heard they're going to be so good that they're going to get
go play the Bears.
Bonus wins. Hey, my Bears might be all right this year. I mean, they have done. I like what they've done in this offseason as far as building their offense. I think
they've been hibernating for a half a century. So
well, they did play in the 2009 Super Bowl. I mean, that wasn't that long ago. Well, 2008. Remember they got beat by? Didn't they lose to Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
Who did they lose to, Hunter?
Todd.
Yeah. That's right. Now that is also 16, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
But they, but no, I like what the Bears have done. I like the fact that they drafted a tight end, the kid from Michigan, who's good, who's very good. They've got some targets. They're running out of, and I do like this coach they hired. He comes very high. And remember, isn't it weird? Who's their offensive coordinator? Chris Doyle's 27-year-old son, Declan Doyle. He's the Bears' offensive coordinator. Think about that.
That's weird.
That is weird. But he comes highly acclaimed. I mean, he has really made a name for himself. But he's 27.
Wow.
He's doing all right.
I mean, that's when rockers die.
That's,
the 27
Einstein,
Club.
When Einstein came up with E equals MC.
Wasn't he like 11?
Wasn't he like 18 or
I think he was like 9.
I don't know.
He did it in between playing tetherball.
And then he never really did.
Yeah, he basically...
he burned out.
He burned out. Yeah, he was never the same after he...
he peaked after E equals MC squared.
Yeah, he couldn't live up to anything after that. But, yeah, I don't know how old Einstein was when he did any of his stuff. I'm just glad that he did it.
Yeah. And I don't understand a moment of it.
Nope, nor do I. Nor do I care to understand, really. As long as other people understand. That's how I look at it.
Spring day, the weather was very nice.
God, it was beautiful.
Very enjoyable. You know, the one thing, and I know I'm 50
the
years.
Music.
Yeah, the music
I
was
knew you
awful.
were going to. I mean, I was complaining about the music. I like it.
Oh, my God, it was just awful.
Well, then some of the lyrics are like, a little questionable. You're sitting there watching Iowa football, but yeah, I'm with you. The music was
just droning in the background. Just Jesus.
There wasn't
Christ.
one song that I liked that was played.
Oh, it was awful.
But I'm guessing they're playing music that their players like. Wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
And we're old, we're crusty, we're outdated.
What were they?
A lot of rap.
It was all rap.
Yeah.
A lot of it was. Yeah, it was. I mean,
You're
in some.
have to get down with the kids.
Well,
but I don't like
I'm
rap.
not.
I would have said the same thing if they played country through the whole thing. What I'm going to suggest to Kirk next year is just play, start with Dark Side, and then go straight to Wish You Were Here, and then Animals, and that would cover most of the practice. Can you imagine that, just playing 3 straight Pink Floyd albums during spring practice?
No.
You wouldn't like that?
No.
And the players wouldn't either.
Oh, they would love it.
They would not know.
They would
what the
love it.
hell
What's
that
this
was.
S,
This
Coach?
is sheep. Shut your mouth. This is sheep, and then pigs and dogs. Come on.
This S is terrible, Coach.
Great album. You're criticizing animals, Captain?
Yeah.
Great album.
No.
Very good album. Hunter? Animals. Hunter said it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, now, that was not a rousing endorsement from Hunter.
Okay, now over the weekend, we slipped down to the casino for an unsuccessful trip.
Didn't you slip down there during the week, too?
Yes.
Okay.
That was more successful.
That was more successful? I'm
This
noticing
was
a
not.
pattern.
So anyway, our friend Jerry, our truck driver that calls in,
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
And heard me saying something to Ann, came up and introduced himself, and had a nice little chat with him.
All right.
So that was
Is that-
very cool.
Is that it?
That was it.
That story's going nowhere else besides that? All right.
No.
Good that you got to meet
But
Jerry.
it was nice to meet one of our listeners,
There you
like
go.
always.
There you go. What are you looking up, Captain?
What age? Einstein.
You're still trying to find that?
Yeah.
Hey, Hunter, did the Cubs end up winning last night? I fell asleep.
The other part of that story, Pat, which maybe
26.
Okay.
The other part of that story that may tie things together for you is he did ask. He said, "What was the food that you had in the press box?"
Oh, what did
Or
they
in
have?
the
What did you have?
They had breakfast burritos.
Okay.
And had a bacon, spinach breakfast burrito, and I had a chorizo and potato and cheese.
So was it catered in from somewhere? Or
Yes, and they, everything was in.
Were they good?
Terrific.
Okay.
Oh,
What else
yeah.
did they have? Were they big?
That was it. Yeah.
Were they big?
Yeah, they were good.
So like
size.
one filled you up?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, a good breakfast burrito is good. Now a bad breakfast burrito is bad.
I had.
It was great.
Captain's going to one up you.
Well,
I
know
don't think
about-
so.
Well, I'll be the judge of that. Come on. What did you have?
La Regia?
Yeah, LaRasia. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Very
called?
good food.
I had Shane got a burrito and he ate it all. I couldn't
Like a
eat-
big boy.
Yeah, I couldn't eat more than a third, but I got two.
I've never had their
thirds of
burritos. I always get their
They're
tacos.
Huge.
Yeah, their food's good. I would say Black Angel and LaRasia are my.
I mean,
I haven't been there for a while though.
It's those. It was huge. I
Their
said,
their
I
street
couldn't
tacos are-
believe that he ate the whole thing.
Yeah, their street tacos are very good.
Hello.
Hello. I had my burrito, and we ate at the table right next to Don Patterson.
Oh,
you did?
Okay, all right.
Yeah. When I looked at him, I thought, "Guess that guy looks familiar." And then I heard him talk, and I went, "Okay, that's why he looks familiar."
Don didn't mention his burrito today. I would have asked him about. I would
So
have
what
asked him
burrito did you have, Karen?
I had the bacon burrito.
Did you like yours?
I liked mine. Yeah.
Okay.
It was filling.
All right.
And then they also had either oranges or apples or some little kind of cookie-like thing.
Oh, so you could.
They
easily
didn't have that when we were there. That was all gone, and the coffee was gone. And
You got there late.
And,
Yeah.
and you could have lemonade, water. I took some so I could drink it or at the baseball game.
yeah, we had water. Was
Yeah,
our
nothing,
choice.
Nothing says breakfast like lemonade.
Well, there was lemonade and there was water and there was
Okay.
orange juice. And
Okay, orange juice. I'd go with the orange juice. All right.
I'd already had orange juice. But anyway, I saw some good baseball games.
So did I.
Boy, yeah.
So
and
did I.
yesterday, I sat between. There were two guys on either side of me. There was a guy on either side of me. I looked at them, and they were taking little notes. So I asked them, "Are you guys scouts?" And the one was for Los Angeles Dodgers, and the other was for the Mariners.
Yeah.
And they were there not for Iowa, but for Indiana. They were only there for Taylor and Dickerson.
Well, those are two of the better players in the Big Ten. It's funny, those Iowa just kicked their ass. But that Taylor, the left fielder, he's really good. Didn't do
they
much.
kept saying that he would go 35. They figured he'd go 35.
Yeah, he's been very successful there. But Iowa shut those bats down.
Well, yeah, and they weren't happy, so the Los Angeles Dodger guy is a big guy, and he got up and said, I'm out of here. So he left, and I talked to the Mariners guy, and then I made the mistake of asking him if he had ever watched Griffey play. Well, he looked at me and said, "I'm not that old." I thought, well, I am, and I guess I forgot. So anyway, and after he said, "Well, I'm going to get out of here. What I want to watch is not happening." I said, "Well, why don't you watch some Iowa guys? I'm only here to watch Taylor and Dickerson." And so then he left. But I thought it was a good game. I really
it was
enjoyed
fun. I enjoyed it.
We wiped them out and left in the 7th inning.
Yeah, no,
the
it was.
first game was cold, and we were there forever.
It was funny. I went home to get my fleece, and by the time I got back, the game was over. I left in the 5th inning. I'm like, man, I'm freezing my ass off, and I never dreamed. Luckily, I got there back in time to be able to interview Rick after the game. But yeah, no, very impressive. They're 20-4 right now. Now they got a tough series coming up out in Seattle, and that's going to be interesting.
Washington.
Yeah, their next 3 series are really tough. Washington, Oregon State, and Oregon. Yeah, no, this is and then they got a game tomorrow against Illinois State, I believe it is. They've got a lot of baseball left, but these next 3 series we'll learn a lot about Iowa baseball. But we already know a lot. This is a good team.
Yeah, it is.
This is a really good team.
The softball team's doing good too.
Yeah, I just wish they would have swept. They needed a sweep. I mean, they're 12-7. Looks like they have a really good chance of being 15-7, and that'll get them a decent seed in the tournament. You win a couple, But oh yeah, I mean, I'm nitpicking here because compared to last year, this has been a great season for softball. And that was big that they came back and won that game yesterday just to get that series. Because that was not the kind of team.
And then tomorrow they play Iowa State.
Who
and
beat
the
them
next day
earlier.
They play UNI.
Yeah.
And weather permitting, Ann and I are going to try to go to the softball game tomorrow.
Yeah, what's the weather like tomorrow?
Sunny, 66.
Okay, I'm going to try to get over there.
Well, I go to that, and then I hop over to watch the end of the baseball game. But luckily for the baseball game, that's also on radio.
Yeah.
So I can watch the softball and listen to the.
I'm going to cover softball, I think, tomorrow, but I won't be able to do baseball at the same time. But yeah, no, there's a lot of season left, but not a lot of season left. If that makes sense. I mean, we're
getting down to it.
We're getting down to it, but the big part of the schedule is coming up for Iowa baseball.
And I was going to tell you the Cubs lost last night.
Yeah, they did.
I fell asleep
in the extra innings.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, you guys have a good day.
Thanks,
and
guys.
I hope you don't have any of those vicious tornadoes and hail and whatever else is supposed to be around.
Got some hail at about 2:42 this morning.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
2:42 this morning.
2:42 this morning. I woke up to some hail.
And it didn't last long. It was funny.
No, it didn't.
It was literally at my house.
Well,
it was like 45 seconds.
Here because I was up and I didn't hear anything.
At my house, it was literally about 45 seconds.
It was longer than that, but it wasn't extended.
I mean, it came. All of a sudden, you had a deluge, and then boom, it was quiet. It was strange how quickly it came and went.
Okay, well, let's hope we don't have any of that stuff.
I'm with you.
We hope.
I already have I saw one of my trees is bent over. So I'm going to have somebody cut that because I don't need a tree falling on
My
me.
little crabapple survived whatever we had last night. It's not real big yet, but it's getting bigger. Hopefully it'll survive all the bad weather.
Okay, you have a good day.
Okay, bye.
See ya. There you go. So yeah, I enjoyed the spring game. There's only so much you can learn. I think coaches will learn a lot because they film everything from different angles, can break everything down. And
I got bored.
Oh yeah, I mean sure.
I mean, after a while, it was boring.
Also, a beautiful pass from Hank Brown to Caden Weegan right on the sideline.
No, I do remember that, but
God,
we
that
joked
beautiful.
about it. We marvel at that. Other schools make that stuff look. They do it in their sleep. But when we see a forward pass that's executed crisply without anybody breaking their stride or something, we act like they just landed on the moon.
And
Not
it was
just
beautiful.
But that's just a basic, simple football play.
I know.
And people are like, oh, my God, look at this. Look at this.
Well, do you remember Deacon Hill?
I remember Deacon
Mr.
Hill.
Harty?
I remember Cade McNamara. I remember.
I do too.
Yeah, I remember C.J. Beathard in 2016. They couldn't complete. You remember the 2000? What was the bowl game against Florida? The offense was dreadful.
Yes,
I just think it's funny though. Something that other schools do just so. I mean, Iowa's been so starved. I know it's just because that play, the people in the stadium, it was like, oh my God, look what we just did, and it was like a 15, 20-yard down and out thrown over into a tight window. And
it was heaven.
And then is that when Ann? I'm thinking, forget that 8-4. I'm thinking 11-1. Is that what you said?
Sure.
But no, I did see some signs. But it's spring practice.
No,
I mean,
there were some nice plays and there were some bonehead plays. That was a big hit by T.J. Hall on that one. I can't remember who
that
the
was
receiver
right in front
was.
of. I can't remember who it was either, but that was right near where we were standing. And then, like I said, I thought Nathan McNeil, the little running back from Florida, true freshman who enrolled here in January, I thought he showed the ability to catch out of the backfield. He got a little elusiveness to him. He runs hard. And then Kirk was asked about him, and Kirk was very complimentary. Said he's very poised. He just he takes everything in stride. And when Kirk's complimenting you that way, that means Kirk really likes this kid's daily approach. And that's a big thing with Kirk and with every coach. Kirk really seems to believe in this kid and the way he goes about it. And for that kid to have already achieved that with his head coach, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so
he stood out to me right away.
So he's going to get some playing time.
Well, possibly. But I mean, Jazion Patterson and Kamari Bolton also looked good yesterday, and they're going to play a ton.
Washington.
Washington, yeah, I don't know how much playing time Nathan McNeil's going to get this year. Now he'll get more as the years progress, but I think the challenge for Tim Lester is to figure out ways to get the ball to Jazion Patterson, Kamari Moulton, and T.J. Washington consistently in every game. I mean, and that's not going to be easy, especially now since Washington's back to being a full-time running back. I just hope there's times where there are two of them around the field at the same time. I just hope that they get to the point where Moulton, Patterson, and Washington get at least maybe 8 to 15 touches a game. And that's what I'm hoping they will do. And we'll see.
And maybe you get McNeil get in, do the 4 games where it doesn't cost him.
Well, that's assuming he's ahead of Xavier Williams, who Kirk also raved about.
You're right.
And that's assuming they're ahead of Brevin Dahl. And, yeah,
Dahl was injured, right?
Yeah, he's injured. But it's going to basically be Moulton, Jazion Patterson, and T.J. Washington. I think those 3 are going to carry the workload. And a lot will depend on who has a hot hand that day. I mean, I think they thought they'd be more of a running back by committee this past year, but Caleb just took the job and ran with it, literally. And he made it easy for them to. And yet those other guys still combined for over 700 rushing yards. Moulton had over 400. Patterson had over 300. So running back to me is not a concern at all. I think the offensive line should be pretty good. A lot just to depend on how Gronowski plays, how he recovers, and how the defense responds. Is it just going to be a reload instead of a rebuild? We'll have to see.
Well, I hope so, although last year wasn't not always a thing of beauty.
No, and 8 of those starters are gone. Mm-hmm. And I'm not ready to say that's a good thing. I'm not ready to say addition by subtraction by any means. Those guys were starting for a reason. No. And the defense was still overall pretty decent. You know, it has set such a high standard that it didn't meet that standard. Yeah, and the 2 games where the defense really let them down was UCLA and Michigan State.
Yeah,
those were the 2 games where the defense just didn't show up on the road, and so we'll see. Like I said, I'm going out in that real far limb and saying like 8-4, 9-3. I mean, you can say that almost every year about Iowa football, but I'm much more convinced about 8-4 than I am 10-2 right now.
Yeah, I mean, 10-2 would be that would get us in the playoffs.
More than likely, I would think. I mean, we can't say for certain because we don't know how many other 10-2s there might be and what have you. But 10-2, you'd have a fighter's chance. 9-3, you're going to the. You and Ann are heading back to Tampa.
To Tampa.
Yeah. 2 weeks in Tampa.
You know, there are worse things to do than.
I know. I'll hire my guy that I have down there, though. I will not be. I don't know if I'll be making. I don't know if I could do another Outback Bowl. It's not the Outback Bowl anymore. What's it called? It's the Relia Quest.
Yeah.
I've done it so many times, Captain. It hurts.
Yeah.
One more
time. It just.
One more time.
One more time. It just crushes your soul.
What's that? Jesus. Just go and watch the game.
I'm kidding. I've had some fun down in Tampa. But
I have too.
The Florida, the bowl game. It is what it is. I've never been a huge fan of bowl games.
Mace was a meteorologist in Tampa.
I thought you were going to say a mascot.
Well, we sure had fun at the down in Nashville.
Yeah, no, Nashville's
great. I mean, it really is.
I've got a stringer down there too who's covered both bowl games for me, Russell Venozzi. And but no, Nashville's fun town. Tampa, I've had fun at a lot of these bowl games. They're not as fun anymore though, because now I have to pay for them myself.
Well, plus you're older.
When I worked, that wouldn't hinder me. It's more having to pay for it myself. When I worked at the Press Citizen, bring it on. You know, the longer the better. I mean, I remember going to the Orange Bowl in '02. We were down there for like 10 days. Right there, Oceanside Hotel. None of it coming out of my pocket. Today, that would all have to be me paying for that.
Yeah.
That
You
sucks.
reminded me, we went to Panera yesterday.
Did you get soup?
We couldn't afford it.
God, it was expensive. I mean, it is expensive.
Okay, but really
There's
though,
a
what
long
isn't?
line.
What really though? What isn't
Yeah,
expensive
but it's
anymore?
pretty expensive.
Oh, Panera is. Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
charge $8.68 for a bowl of soup, or $7.60 for a cup of soup. That's pretty expensive. What'd you get?
Jan got mac and cheese.
What is that, like $8
That's pretty good.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
It's there. Isn't
I
the
think it's
Vermont
like
white mac?
8 or 9.
Did anyone get like any soup?
No, because Jan wanted the autumn squash. She likes it.
I know you've told me that before.
Yeah,
I've told
they
you
didn't, they didn't carry it, even though it's on their menu.
They do that every once in a while, even though it looks like infection.
God.
And
What the hell?
well, Panera's pretty good. I don't go there
No,
often,
it was
but it's
good food.
I don't go there as much as I used to.
I got a chicken salad sandwich.
Oh no, their stuff is good. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
it's
only cost $28.
the whole order, the sandwich.
But
or the
were
whole
there four
Just
of
the
you though?
sandwich. 4 of us, and it was I don't know, $40 or something like
Yeah,
that.
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get anything these days for around $10, you're
you're
winning.
doing pretty good.
You're winning. Other than Taco Tuesdays.
Taco Tuesdays are the best deals.
Best
going.
deal. It's about the only deal left, really. Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And there's some good places all around to get. You can eat. You can fill yourself up for less than $10. And there's just not much else you can say that about.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't really do fast food value meals anymore, but is it like a quarter pounder value meal from McDonald's close to $10?
Yes.
Oh, easy.
Is it over $10?
It's around $10.
It's like right around $10.
Yeah.
Okay, like I know Freddy's. You can get the double at Freddy's with fried their combo. I think it's like $9.72. That's one of the better deals in
You
town.
can get a McDouble at McDonald's, and honest to God,
Aren't they like $2?
It's got they're like $3, but it's got as much meat in
Oh,
it
yeah.
as a quarter pounder.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
It's
have
got less
all
bun.
The other crap,
Yeah.
less bun, and
And
less
doesn't have
the
those
other
onions
crap.
that have the onions that have whatchamacallit. What did they have?
Onions.
I know. Isn't the onions, isn't that where the E. coli was?
Yeah, but that's a long time ago.
few months ago.
There have been other diseases they've been dealing with.
Like what? Scurvy?
Scurvy, yeah. Ricketts.
Isn't that the Cubs owner?
Yeah.
Tom Ricketts?
Yeah.
All right.
A-hole.
You don't like him?
No.
Hunter, do you like Tom Ricketts? You like him as an owner? I mean, like I said, what are the Cubs now? Are they 2-3 games over 500? Yeah, I mean, they're giving themselves a fighter's chance to win a not very good division.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look very good this year.
No.
There does not look to be a very good team in their division.
I'll take that bet that they don't win the.
Oh yeah, I'd still take the field, but I would not be shocked at all if the Cubs. I think 84, 85 games may win that division.
It might.
85.
No, you're right about
85,
that.
77. I think that could win that division this year. I mean, because the Cardinals don't look to be as good as they usually are. The Brewers seem to have taken a step back, at least right now. I mean, what have we played? 25, 30 games, roughly.
Yeah,
roughly.
So I mean, you're starting to get a decent size sample work to kind of know.
So about 15 to 17% of the game.
Yeah, and I did watch enough. Boy, that Aaron Nola was on last night. His ball was moving. He came into that game 0-5, and yet he looked like Tom Seaver last night. I mean, he was hitting the corners. It was impressive. And the guy pitching for, what's his name, Talion, and he pitched well.
Nola, that's New Orleans, Louisiana. So
Aaron Nola, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they interviewed Pete Crow Armstrong during one inning when he's out there playing center field.
I hate that.
I still think it's so weird. I've yet to see a ball hit to somebody being interviewed. I want to see that, to see how they... He was great, though. He was a great interview. I think he may have I can't remember. All I know is they got a triple when he was out there. Yeah, and but he was a good interview. He's a neat story. He's playing really well. Do I think he's going to end up hitting close to 300 all year? No. I think eventually he's going to level off. But, no, I'm pleasantly surprised by how the Cubs have done so far.
How you have Marquee?
No, I was just this was on ESPN.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have Marquee. I mean, if I'm not, Cubs are out of sight, out of mind. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I don't watch baseball as much as I even used to, and I've never been a huge baseball watcher. It's just I like going over to cover Iowa baseball. That's different, but I can't sit and watch the Cubs from start to finish on TV. I'd fall asleep.
I'm with you.
Baseball's just a boring
100%.
sport to watch.
I do use it to fall asleep.
You could.
Yeah.
I mean, live, I enjoy it. But
my father did that too. He would watch, maybe get through the first 2 innings, and then he was gone till the 8th.
Yeah, my dad would do that too.
Yeah.
I don't remember my dad watching much baseball. Too slow. But I'm trying to think anything else from Saturday. I had a neat interview with Aaron Graves. I wrote about it yesterday. Guys like Aaron Graves, we're not going to have them much anymore. He committed to Iowa as a freshman.
Yeah.
Has stayed committed to Iowa for over 7 years. And he's a dying breed. These guys just aren't around much anymore. And he talked about one of his neatest things about being a Hawkeye is everything that they told him in the recruiting process has turned out to be true. And he said just the authenticity and the upfrontness, being honest. He goes, and that's pretty cool. And I will say that does describe the Iowa culture. They don't sugarcoat it when they're recruiting guys, and they don't make any false hope things like, oh, you're going to come in right. You got to earn everything you get. And Aaron Graves says, for him, that was something that really impressed him. And he just said everything they said has turned out to be true. And that's a compliment.
And you can't ask more of a staff
no,
than that.
And all you should be as a kid, you get your money. Aaron Graves wants his NIL money. I'm sure Heinrich and them are giving him a nice little chunk every month.
Mm-hmm.
But all Aaron Graves wanted more than anything was a fair shot and a chance to be a part of something bigger than him, and that's what they gave him, and it was pretty cool. And it was funny too. He's like, God, I just realized this is my last spring practice. It seems like Aaron Graves just came here as a freshman like yesterday, and now he's a senior. He'll be done next year.
Yeah.
It's amazing how fast it goes. It really is.
I imagine, especially for them.
Oh, that's what he said. There's times where you get into the thick of the grind and you think this is never going to end. Then the next thing you know, it's almost over.
Yeah.
You hear that a lot from guys, but no, it was good to get over there, and like I said, the weather could not have been better.
No, it was
beautiful. There weren't that many people there. I would guess maybe 3,000-4,000.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, there weren't that many people there.
Now, you were on the
we
east
were on
side?
on the east side, yeah, on the opposite side of you guys. And but
no, we were in the north end zone.
Oh, you were in the north. Yeah, that was almost hell. If I would have looked long enough, I could have found you because you were one of maybe 20 people sitting in the north end zone.
There weren't a lot.
Yeah, so no, but that's not Kirk's purpose for that is not to try to get a bunch of fans in the stadium. He does this. This is the last thing they do for spring, and if you want to come and watch it, it's not the same as a spring game, but the spring game, as long as Kirk's the coach here, is never going to happen again, and you're watching more and more programs are getting rid of the spring game. It's just not worth it for him, and it's not worth the chance of injury and what have you. But like I said, I've got sort of a wait-and-see attitude on this team, and it's just tough that we can't see Gronowski.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that. Well, it was nice to see that he was throwing, though.
Yeah, he was throwing nothing really intense, but he was throwing, and I know he's been working out with the Nerf ball and what have you. And I saw, interesting, is Brendan Sullivan committed to Tulane, and then 2 days later, one of Tulane's quarterbacks left and entered the portal. And it was one of the quarterbacks that I thought was going to be the main competition for Brendan Sullivan. So this makes me wonder if Sullivan kind of knew what he was getting into, because I can't imagine, because Brendan's there's a bunch of they added 2 or 3 quarterbacks, I believe, from the portal, but I can't imagine he would go somewhere where he didn't think there was going to be a chance to play.
Well, I'm sure he got a nice payday.
I'm sure he got a nice payday, but I think he's going to want to play,
Oh,
too.
sure he does.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that shakes up. And Kirk said some really nice things about Brendan Sullivan. You can tell Brendan made a strong impression when he was here. Kirk went out of his way to say that he was just the greatest teammate, did everything we asked him to do, and he wished him nothing but good luck.
Well, the fans enjoyed Sully as well.
Yeah, and he did. He sacrificed his body. Probably too much. There were times where I'd be like, "No, you don't need to run this quick." He's just not much of a pocket passer, and I don't know if that's going to change in year 5 in college.
Probably not.
But maybe Tulane has an offense that'll be more suited for him. I wish him nothing but the best. He seemed like a good kid.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I enjoyed watching him play.
And I think we'll have some guests from Iowa on Wednesday. I'm not sure who it's going to be yet.
Those have sure been fun.
A lot of choose from. Track and field. I mean, track and field.
Isn't it going to be the rowing coach?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, we may have. Yeah, I think it is going to be the rowing coach, and we may have an athlete too. I'm not sure, but the women's track, they won the cup at the relays, and then a men relay team set the fastest time, I believe, in the world this year for an event, and third fastest in school history. So there was a nice showing by Iowa Track at the Drake Relays. Softball won its series. Baseball swept its series. So, no, this was a good – and there weren't any serious injuries that I can recall from the practice Saturday. So this was a good past weekend for –
So I think there were at least 12 that weren't participating, so I'll bet my number was pretty close.
Yeah, there was easily 12 that weren't participating. I mean and the only one I was really hoping to see Sam Phillips. I wanted to just see how he released off the line of scrimmage and what have you. But, I mean, I can understand if there's any chance of, aggravating an injury, it's not worth dressing for the final spring game. But, yeah, that's just the way it's always going to be. I was pleasantly surprised that Patterson and Moulton both practiced and ran hard. I thought one of them would be out, but they were both there. And, like I said, as great as Caleb was, I'm not worried about running back. I'm really not. I think they're fine at running back.
And Seth Anderson's
he's healthy, knock on wood. I'm not that worried about receiver either, if you can believe that. Like I said, my biggest concern are quarterback, just because I got to see it, and linebacker.
Yeah.
Those are my biggest concern. I think special teams are going to be great.
Although Drew Stevens looked awful.
He did, but I'm ready. That was, I mean, what did he miss? At least 3?
Yeah, more. More.
Was it more than 3?
I think he missed 4 or 5.
But, yeah, I know he missed.
I mean, they were fairly close.
Well, he missed from 53 twice, because that's where, I mean, he missed the 50-yarders. He didn't make many of the real long ones.
He wasn't himself.
No, he wasn't. And it was pretty windy, but I know that's an excuse, but I'm not worried about him. I mean, I think he'll be fine. I think the punting's going to be fine. I think Weechen's going to be fine, but teams aren't going to kick to Weechen. They got to get another guy ready, which they will. Teams are not going to punt to Weechen. They're going to punt away from him, and that's going to be interesting to see how he handles that.
Hello.
Who the hell is Weeks?
Weechen.
Hey, guys.
Weechen.
Caden Weegen.
Weegen. W-E.
Oh, he's
Weegen.
still around?
Yeah.
T-J-E-N, I believe.
Yep. It's spelled Wetgen, but it's pronounced Weegen.
Right, Williamsburg, right?
Williamsburg, yep.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I made a couple notes while I was listening.
Okay.
That Karn, they ought to hire her for Beth Getz's right-hand girl.
Okay. For like $700,000 a year.
Well, you ain't going to find a bigger fan than Karn, I'll tell you that much.
What if they hire her, though, and she just starts firing coaches?
That wouldn't be good.
How about West Coast baseball? My dad used to say it's going to separate the men from the boys.
Okay.
The West Coast baseball?
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand that. What did he mean?
The men will step to the plate and the boys will bow.
But only on the West Coast?
Only on the West Coast?
Yeah, I think they're good, aren't they?
Who? What are you talking about?
Baseball.
So you're talking about
UCLA? Are you talking about the West Coast teams in the Big Ten?
Yeah, that we're going to play.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, no. Washington, Oregon State, and Oregon are all good teams, yes. But they're all Iowa's ahead of everybody. Iowa's in first place in the Big Ten, so I mean, Iowa's a good team too. I give them a fighter's chance to win these series.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, yeah, we got
Captain, do you want to add anything?
No.
Why not?
I don't want to add anything.
I mean, we got a 2.5 game lead.
Yep.
I want to go.
Right now, Iowa baseball owns the Big Ten, right, Tom?
Got a 2.5 game lead over UCLA.
Yes.
6, 7, 8, 9, and a 4.5 game lead on Oregon.
They could get swept by Oregon and still have a lead over them if they were playing this week. Yep.
Well, my hope is 2-1, 1-2, 2-1.
So you got to go in 1-2 against Oregon State?
I don't know.
We're at Washington this week.
Yeah, he said 2-1. Yeah. Oh, if they could win 2 of these next 3 series, that would be pretty impressive.
and hopefully they make it to the big show.
Oh, they're gonna make the NCAA tournament.
Well, unless they go.
I mean, if they go 0-10, if they lose their leg, then yeah, could be a problem. But that's not going to happen.
Well, you can't beat them Southern ball players.
I thought you
said it was West Coast.
West Coast.
You're going you're like a compass, man. You're going all over the place.
Well, most days like you, Pat.
I'm all over the place too.
Hey, Tom, do you remember Eddie Watt?
Oh, sure. He was older than
my
me.
dad played ball with him, 1960.
Yeah, he was older than me.
Evie's last
quite
year.
A bit, but...
Evie's last year, 1960.
Yeah.
No, he went on to play for the Orioles.
Yeah. I think didn't Karn know him?
I think so.
I think Karn grew up with him or knows him somehow.
Yeah, Dodge Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, to football, we need a Brad Banks again.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
He was at practice. So was Desmond King.
Yeah.
I think anyone would say they could use a Brad Banks.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Or an Ernie Banks.
Yeah.
Or Jane and Michael Banks.
How about Tavian Banks?
Yeah. Well, we got Tavion Banks.
About U.S. Banks.
You still on, Paul?
Oh yeah, that City High game, Betboro City High.
Yes. Yeah. It's great. Tim Dwight and Tavion.
High scoring.
Yeah.
I was there.
Me too.
You guys are both very special.
Yep. Were you there, Suter?
Uh-uh.
I was there and you were not. Ha.
The next year was when I started broadcasting.
You were banned on the run then, weren't you? Still just
So we were finishing up.
pounding the pavement.
10 minutes ago, you finished broadcasting.
Is it going to rain today? It's awful.
Captain, this is your cue to get involved.
Come on, weather boy.
Come on, weather alarmist.
Yeah. Scattered showers, thunderstorms, some severe
hail,
damaging winds.
That's later, though, isn't it?
Tornadoes.
I mean, get to your closet, shut the door, and pray.
Like 6 minutes, I think.
Yep.
Sit in the bathtub and have a hot soak.
Sounds good. I haven't had a bath in
I haven't either.
50 years.
I don't remember the last time I took a bath. Yeah, go have a hot soak, Paul.
Yep. Hey, Pat, crank some Little Feet today.
I will. I think I will go home and crank some Little Feet because they're still not in the Hall of Fame.
What?
They're not in the Hall of Fame. They're not in the 26. They're not in the 25 class that was just announced.
Goddamn horns they had.
Yeah, they were a great band. Still are.
Yeah, they didn't last too long.
They're still playing.
Well, he means the real. I mean, Little George has been dead for 45 years almost.
Well, that's true. But Brian Jones has been dead for that long for the Stones, and they're doing okay. And he was an original.
Yeah, but he wasn't near as influential as Lil George was on Little Feat. Lil George should be in the Hall of Fame, don't you think? Just him by himself?
Yeah, well, I love Lil George.
Yeah, he produced like Shakedown Street by the Dead. He did a lot of other stuff too.
Really?
Yes. Okay, the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class and inductees are Bad Company, Tom Bill, Thom. I've never heard. You know who that is?
No, he's probably a producer or something.
Okay, Chubby Checker, Joe Cocker, Nicky Hopkins.
Nicky Hopkins, piano player, played with the Stones, as a matter of fact.
Carol Kay.
Carol Kay is part of the Wrecking Crew.
Okay.
Bass player that played on probably 200 hits that you know.
Cyndi Lauper.
Okay.
Outcast.
You bet.
Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Soundgarden. Lenny Woronker. The White Stripes. And, well, they misspelled it. Warren Devon. They mean Warren Devon. Those are the...
Those are the nominees?
They're the inductees, yes.
Well, those are all inductees?
Yes, for 25.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what about Tom Waits? Is he in?
I don't believe so.
Jesus.
I use him to fall asleep, too.
Yeah.
He's still waiting, Paul.
Yeah.
He's boring. He's like...
No, he used to play...
Padaski used to play that stuff, driving to like softball games and baseball games. And
Tom Waits sucks.
Okay, Cap.
Whoa, he's giving in.
He's it's kind of dirge-like, isn't he?
Yeah, wait.
It's just boring. He makes Bob Dylan sound exciting.
Well, put on some good stuff today, Hunter.
Hunter's not listening to us.
No.
Hunter, are you listening? No, we're talking. Paul just made a request.
Yeah.
He wants you to play good music today.
He's not gonna.
Molly's in. Molly's.
Yeah, that's right. Molly's
in charge of the music. You have any advice from Molly, Paul?
A lot of chick music.
A lot of chick music, Molly.
Okay, Molly likes chick music.
Paul wants chick music, Captain.
Yeah.
Molly likes chick music.
I better let you go. I got
All right.
work to do. I got to get some mulch today.
All right, you have a good day,
buddy.
Paul.
Hey, Paul. Tom Waits sucks.
Cap. You got to be in the mood.
Podasky used to listen to him a lot.
Thanks for the call, Paul.
And his stuff was
I'm
boring.
surprised.
His stuff was boring.
It's awful.
Have you heard much of Tom Waits?
No.
Oh, you'd hate it.
Oh, no.
You would hate it.
No.
Hello.
Hey, Pat.
Yeah.
You remember George Kittle?
Yes.
I bet he likes a hot bath.
I don't get that one.
Something to do maybe with his wife?
Hello?
With Claire?
My God, let's hope. This is turning creepy.
Hello?
You know, a couple observations from Saturday. Obviously, our punter's good. Our backup punter did not look all that good. But I was watching the team move from the practice facility to Kennick, and there's Jackson Stratton's walking over there, and these two young college guys one says, "Is that our quarterback?" And the other guy says, "Yeah." He says, "I think that guy looks like he works at the shop in Milan." I'm like, "Yeah, he kind of does look a little rough." So, Shaggy.
Okay.
That's how he earned his name. What do you think, Captain? You like the way this show's going right now, the direction?
Right. Just about ready to go off the cliff.
I thought Paul's call was solid. Lots of interesting
Is that the word
insights.
Is that the word you would use for that call? I want to know what's your description of it.
It's fine. Whatever.
Paul addressed a number of topics.
Yes. He did. The West Coast boys will decide the men and the boys.
Yeah, there you go. And he is right.
No, absolutely.
It took me a little while to understand where he was going, but he is right. These next three series will, I'm not going to say they're going to make or break, but they will decide what this team's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if they lose these next three series, people are going to say, they were a fraud. They beat the bad teams. Indiana came into that series 12-9, but they were also like 24-21 or whatever. So, but they were a good team, though. I agree with Rick. Iowa made a pretty good team look bad.
Yeah,
they're
Indiana,
a good
23-21.
But they're still a good hitting team, and the Iowa pitchers, man, all three starters just really looked good.
Hello.
Hey, did you guys figure out the last Iowa-born kid to be drafted at quarterback?
Well, someone says it's Sage Rosenfeld. Are we
Max Dugan.
Did he get drafted?
7th round by the Chargers.
Okay, then they're okay.
Okay.
Max Dugan.
Great, thank you.
You're right, Max Dugan, and there might be somebody else too.
And there might be
that we're not thinking of. But good. I didn't think Dugan got drafted. Thanks, appreciate that.
Yep, no problem. Have a good one, guys.
Yep.
And now I think Dugan. I think he's playing in the U.S. that league that Stoops coaches in now. I think I saw some highlights of him playing in that league.
Boy, I just have zero interest in that league.
Oh, me either. I
zero.
I think it's cool that Stoops and Chuck are doing it, but they were on the other day, and I watched like a quarter only because of Chuck and Stoops, and then I got bored.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting that Stoops is doing that when he could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I kind of respect him for that.
Probably got a big stake in it.
He does, but
huge...
he could be coaching at any college he wants. He could be coaching in the NFL, making millions if he wanted.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need it. No. And good for him. Whatever makes you happy. Now, of course, he's made a ton of money, so it's not like he's hurting. But it's still. But I'm with you though. It just doesn't work for me.
No.
Have you watched any of the NBA playoffs?
No, and I won't.
I've watched a little bit. The Lakers are down 3-1. It looks like they're going to get eliminated. That'll be interesting. I've watched some. I'd never watch it from start to finish.
I'm not an NBA fan.
I'm not a huge NBA fan. I'll still watch it like if LeBron's on or Steph Curry. I'll watch, but I usually don't watch from start to finish.
Steph Curry was going on and on about Caitlin again. How great!
Yeah, she's on. Well, this Saturday.
Yeah.
Isn't it Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Yes. Dallas will be covering it for us. You'll be there, right?
We'll be there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much she actually watch. They play her like 3 minutes. She gets in, makes 3 long threes, gets a technical, and then they take her out. That's what I want. Wouldn't you love to see that?
It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing Kate. Of course, I've always loved to watch Caitlin.
Oh, me too. I'm just not convinced it's going to be a do-or-die battle from start to finish. I'm not sure how much.
Caitlin playing 39
minutes and just, and getting emotional after every call. I don't know if it's going to be that, but if it is, great. You got to be careful a little bit. You don't want to overdo it, but I mean, I get it. They're trying to sell their brand, and it's going to be fun having her back in town. Wouldn't you like her though to complain a little bit to the officials? Don't you enjoy that as much as I do?
Yeah.
I think it's one of the funnest parts about her game.
Hello.
I love it when she rolls her eyes and puts her palms up in the air.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. It's John Ballmer. I was going to comment on the NBA. I'm a Celtic fan, but I really can't stand watching them anymore. The whole NBA, it's like mud wrestling almost. I watched the other night. I watched Steph Curry when they were playing, and I love him because he actually has finesse and does some things. But there were guys grabbing him, almost putting their arms around him. That's kind of the way of the world.
But John, not to counter, but the NBA is not near as rough as it was back in the 80s when they had the Jordan rules and the Detroit Pistons.
That's true.
I mean, they used to mug guys back in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, I know.
It's completely different
when Wayne
now.
Greer used to cheap shot Larry Bird all the time.
Oh yeah, no, it's way more of a finesse game now than it was in the 80s and 90s.
Well, I would question that, Pat. Truly, I don't see very little finesse, frankly.
Well, you're like your Boston Celtics. All they do is shoot threes. That's finesse. They don't bang underneath. They just shoot threes.
And they try to dribble through people all the time. I mean, I like Jason Tatum, but Jesus, he makes more goddamn turnovers than most players. He's a good player, but I just don't see where we have the teamwork that we used to have. Those 80 teams had teamwork. I mean, I watch those Celtics, and Larry Bird and that group. This was great passing, rebounding. It was all good. Now, granted, I saw the time that Robert the Chief Parrish just beat the living crap out of Bill Laimbeer, and nothing happened to him because the referees figured this was payback time. So anyway.
Well, yeah, because those games were just all physical back then. There was so much body slamming, and it's just a completely different game now. And
well, yeah, I still there's too much physicality still, in my mind. I mean, I don't know how you can let go of some of the stuff that and Steph Curry's phenomenal that he can play in that level and take the beatings he does.
You should go back and look at some old tape of Michael Jordan playing against the Pistons.
Oh, I know. Well, I realize, Pat, I understand.
I mean, they used to beat the hell out of him.
Oh yeah. Well, and you remember the Piston Bad Boys? That's their MO. At the time. So, no, I'm looking forward to seeing Caitlin Sunday, and then we're going to go down to Indianapolis to see the Fever and the Sky play that first regular season game. So,
do you have decent seats?
I don't know where they are. Just get the truth. Tom,
I'm too old to sit in nosebleeds. I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to do it.
I've never been there, and so it'll just be fun to do it. That's kind of the way.
No, Indy's cool.
No, it's a neat town.
Yeah, no, I just figure that. And what'll be good about seeing this game Sunday? There's Indiana picked up some really good players to go with.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And I think that'll make their team even better, and she'll be even better.
Yeah, Dewana Bonner, that was a huge get for Indiana. Yeah,
and plus I think they've got a really good coach now.
Stephanie White, she's real good.
Yeah.
I didn't think the coach that last year did that bad.
Christy Side, no.
They made a lot of improvements under her. It just seemed like nobody really accepted her.
That was the deal, I think, exactly, Pat. She just wasn't accepted. That's a good point. Went to all 3 baseball games, and, God, it was great seeing Gable Mitchell go on a 3-0 pitch, just go downtown with that 3-run homer. And he played a solid shortstop the whole weekend.
No, he's a
heck of a player.
He leads the team in hitting. Yeah.
Now, is he a junior or a senior?
I believe I think he's a senior.
Well, I'm not. That's a good question because I followed him at City High, and God,
Well, wait, Obermiller's only a junior. I'm not exactly.
Yeah, they're both juniors.
I think they're juniors. I think this is their 3rd year. Yes.
Yeah, he's just a junior. Cade will probably go to the pros after this.
Yeah, he almost did last year because he met the age requirements. But no, he'll have a better opportunity this time, more money.
Yeah, I think he will too.
Yeah.
He's left-handed, and that's the majors like lefties, so especially ones that can pitch. So, but no, it was a fun weekend, and I didn't think Indiana was really that bad. They had some hitters, but we stymied them.
Yeah, they did.
It was a good series for the Hawks. So
it sure was.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to miss the Oregon series because we'll be in Indianapolis that weekend. So, but
well, there you go.
Oregon State will be tough up. Aren't they ranked number 3 in the nation right now? Something like that.
Yeah, they did lose at least one to Oregon.
I mean, Oregon State's always good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always good.
Oregon beat them 3-2 in one game.
Okay, good. All right, well, Captain, you're awful quiet. What's the deal?
John, Tom Waits sucks.
I could give a you-know-what about that.
That's going to be Molly's first song is Tom Waits today.
How about Chubby Checker?
Hey, man.
When I think of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think of Chubby
Why
Checker.
did it take him so long? I mean, with the twists?
I don't understand that
He had
either.
a bunch of dance stuff.
Is Fats Domino in?
Fats is much better than Chubby Checker.
Yeah.
He should be in.
Don't talk to Chubby Checker about anybody being better than Chubby Checker.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because somebody, when he was in Coralville, somebody came up to him and asked him about some art. I don't even remember. And he goes, he copied everything from me. Him and Little Richard would do the same. They copied everything from me. Yeah, he was.
Oh, I love Fats Domino, though. He's
Domino.
terrific.
Oh, I did too.
He found his thrill on Blueberry Hills.
Terrific.
Yep.
Walking to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're old school, Tom. That's for sure. I am anyway. I'm a lot older than you guys. Well, Steve, I'm the same age as Steve. We're Methuselah, so.
Yeah.
Except,
what are you going to do?
I'm still cognizant, John.
Of?
I can still form a sentence, I think.
Yeah, usually you guys both can.
Well, your brother Steve is my age, Tommy. So.
Yeah, I know. He's in your class, of course.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, it's always good to hear your voices.
All right.
Have a great rest of the day.
All right, take care, John.
Thanks, fellas.
Bye.
We done?
I don't know. It can be.
Or do we have to go to 11?
We have to just, for a moment, because this has been jam-packed. Let's just...
Well, this call is going to make or break. This will decide if we stay on for a little bit or if we get the hell out.
What if it's Paul again? Paul, part 2.
Hello.
Hey, Pat, I was just going to bring up that there was a period there in the 2010s where Iowa had 3 Iowa high school products starting in the NFL. Had Sage Rosenfeld, Kyle Orton, and there was a third one who escapes me, but
Kyle Orton.
And I forget which year it was.
Well,
but there was a third one there too. And
isn't Kirk Cousins from Iowa?
No, Michigan.
What's that?
Kirk Cousins was from Michigan.
There was a third one there too, and I forget, but it was just so. It wasn't.
Okay, well, no, I forgot all about Kyle Orton. So yeah, we got Max Dugan, Kyle Orton, and. You said there's a third one? Huh? Maybe somebody will remember that one, too. So, okay, so there's been a few.
It was a third one, and it wasn't a long period of time, but it may have been just several weeks. It may have been a better part of a season. I'm not sure that there was 3 Iowa high school products starting in the same game or the same weeks in the NFL season. It was
interesting. Okay.
It was kind of the high time for Iowa high school quarterbacks for sure.
Okay, yeah, and Orton went to Purdue. Okay, thanks for the heads up on that. So, yeah, there's been a few. That was a good call. Informative.
Yeah.
We learned something from that call.
We did. We did indeed.
Just waiting for you to say something.
What do you want me to say?
You're making Suter
what
and
the
I.
hell do you
You're making
want me
Suter
to
and I
say?
carry the workload, and it's not fair.
It's yours. It's all yours.
No, it's not all
Yeah,
mine.
it's all yours.
This is not
Yes.
all mine. This is yours.
It's all-
Paul is yours. John Ballmer calls because of you. I don't want to disagree with John, but he's still wrong about the NBA game. It's so less physical now than it was back in. I mean, the 80s was ridiculous. I mean, it wasn't really even basketball.
No, it was very...
Michael Jordan would drive to the basket, and Bill Laimbeer would literally just throw him to the ground. But it was, like I said, I don't watch much of the NBA.
John's okay.
So is your son still here in town, or is he?
Yeah, he leaves tonight.
That's nice that he was able to come in.
No, it was real nice.
You guys going out for lunch somewhere today?
I think they're cooking something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins says here was born in Barrington, Illinois.
Barrington, Illinois. Okay. Yeah, he was a big Iowa fan growing up because I remember doing a story on him. But I believe he went to high school in Michigan, but he was an Iowa fan, but Iowa took Ricky Stanzi over him. They both visited at about the same time. And I think it
worked out well.
I think it's fair to say it worked out well for both of them, but especially for Kirk. I mean, Kirk's made a little bit more money than Ricky has in the NFL. Kirk's made over $100 million in the he's
done
made
all right.
A ton of money in the NFL. So, but yeah, he was an Iowa fan though. I mean, I think had Iowa offered him, I think he would have been here. I think but Michigan State was a nice plan B or whatever it was, and he had a good career there.
He did. All right.
Yep.
I think it's time to turn things over to the younger generation.
Well, I think Molly's going to start twirling some good tunes here.
Molly Catherine Suter with a Tom Waits retrospective.
Well, we're going to do she's going to do a Tom Waits three-piece set to begin with. Hopefully some of his slower, longer stuff.
Then she'll pull out a revolver, and that'll be the end of it. God.
She's going to shoot herself with a keyboard.
Everything. Honest to God, and they used to play that on KFMH all the time.
Yeah, I never understood.
And I just didn't get it.
It was funereal.
I mean, really.
Podasky loved him.
Yeah.
Listen to him all the time. Seriously. I mean, we'd drive out to Solon, and I'd be like, God, this is just torture.
No, it just, God, dirging.
Yeah.
And just, depressing.
Depressing, yeah.
Hello?
The third quarterback was Kurt Warner.
Oh. Okay. There's enough.
Yeah.
Now, Kurt Warner, 2001. Yeah, he would have been there after. Okay, thank you.
Sure, thanks.
Okay, so Sage Rosen.
Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, Cedar Rapids Regis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kurt Warner, Max Dugan, Sage Rosenfeld.
And you and I, too.
Yeah, so they had four of them, four quarterbacks from Iowa.
All right, thanks.
Got it all figured out.
Did you see that movie with him?
The Kurt Warner story?
Yeah.
I did not. Did you guys?
No.
I did.
I mean, I already know his story. He got
not interested.
Packing shelves at Hy-Vee.
I wasn't real impressed, but
not interested.
That was the first time we went to the theater, the Sycamore Theater, and they said, pick your seats.
Uh-huh.
And so we picked two seats in the back.
Yeah.
Only they weren't in the back. We got confused, and we were like,
"Oh, you were in the front."
Oh, I hate that.
Right in the freaking front row, and it was packed.
I'll tell you what, it is an incredible story. But we're all familiar with this story. I mean, it was incredible what he was able to accomplish.
Yeah, it was.
It really was. I mean, when he was in his prime, he was really good.
Yes, he was.
And that was kind of before Tom Brady had become Tom Brady. I mean, it was. I have not seen it.
It was okay.
It's one of those things where if it was on, yeah, but your thing is just he's not a Hawk. I mean, if he was a Hawkeye, you'd be all over that movie and say it's the greatest movie ever.
Not interested.
But that's just because he's not a Hawkeye, right?
Not interested wherever he was.
But I'm saying, though, if he had done...
You didn't like him.
No, I'm saying that he had played at Iowa, Tom would be all over.
Oh, of course.
It just says he's not a Hawkeye. That's how he looks at things.
Yeah.
He's not a Hawkeye, I'm not interested.
Not a UNI fan, I don't care.
Well,
yeah,
Jan
I don't
went
care.
To UNI. Jan graduated UNI.
But see, my dissent has nothing to do with loyalties. I'm just not interested, but it has nothing to do because he didn't go to Iowa. I don't look at things that way. You can still be a good person and not be a Hawkeye. That's how I look at it. Tom sees things differently.
Well, Tom's not that black and white.
If you're not a Hawkeye, you're
not
wrong
interested
and you're
in
evil.
Kurt Warner, and I never have been.
Yeah, all I'm saying is if he was a Hawkeye, you'd be obsessed with him. With his story.
I'm not obsessed with anybody.
There is something personal here.
No, there isn't. I don't care.
Yeah? Just because he went to UNI.
I sense something personal.
No, there isn't.
If you're not a Hawkeye, you're not a Hawkeye. You're not worth the time.
Well, you can't complain about that.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's where his logic's coming from. Yeah. Which is fine. I'm just not interested because I already know his story.
Well, I mean, it was just went to the movies.
I'm surprised that you would go to that
Sorry, I
movie.
brought it up.
I'm just surprised that would be a movie that you two would see.
Jan wanted to see it.
Oh,
And
so
it
she a
went
big
to you and I.
Is she a big
She
Kurt
went
Warner
to
fan?
you and I.
Okay. Did she like the movie?
No, because our necks hurt.
Couldn't you have moved to a different seat? Or
No,
was it
it
packed?
was packed.
Oh, it was.
It seriously was.
Wow, that surprises me.
It was packed.
Really? I mean, how many seats does a theater like
I
that
have
hold?
no idea, but we looked around and
I'm surprised that it was packed.
yeah,
Because it didn't
Popcorn
do
was-
very well. It didn't.
popcorn was good.
Did the movie do very well?
I don't think it did.
I don't think it did. I don't remember. It's already out on. You can already.
Yeah, I don't think it did that well, but that showing was packed.
Yeah, that would be bad getting really close. There's nothing
Yeah.
worse than being in the front row at a theater.
Yeah, I don't know why they have them.
I don't.
Seriously.
Yeah, because you're literally.
Why do you have the freaking front row?
Well, something has
Something
to be.
has to be the front row.
Put the students there.
Getz is working on that. She's talking to the theater right now to try to get them to move the students.
Students should be there.
Students get them first. So, but again, thanks for Don Patterson for
Yes.
coming on, talk a little Hawkeye spring football, and we'll have Don on again in the summer, or if any news warrants. But now spring football's over. It seems like it just started, and it is over now.
It
And
is.
Now we get into the thick of spring and summer, and Iowa baseball and Iowa softball are kind of plus Ben's still filling his roster. What are the latest rumors?
Nothing really.
What happened
Just that kid
from High Point?
That kid from High Point is still deciding. They both kind of want it to happen, but his agent wants more money than we want to give him.
God, the story gets old.
It sure does.
It's the same. I just. And, this guy, in fairness, it's not like he's some superstar with a ton of bargaining leverage. But
no,
whatever.
Whatever. We'll see what happens.
I don't know if money was the difference between the Toulson kid going to TCU and Iowa. There's other factors than just money. I mean,
There are.
I get that, but money seems to be a huge factor in all of this stuff. So.
As Hall of Fame inductee Cyndi Lauper said, money changes everything.
And why is it taking so long for her to get inducted?
I don't know. 'Cause she was terrific.
I mean, I figured she would have been inducted years ago. I mean, I like her more than Madonna.
Seriously, you would have thought.
I do too.
I like Cyndi Lauper more than Madonna, don't you, Captain?
Yeah.
And I'm sure Madonna's been in for years.
I imagine.
Now, she did have more hits.
She did.
But Cindy's had some really good hits.
Cindy's good.
And she battles psoriasis.
The heartbreak of psoriasis.
She's great, and she's the nicest person.
You've met her in person?
Yeah.
Where'd you meet her? In the Quad Cities? Or when you were here?
Well, I was here, but in the Quad Cities, I think.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I've read where she's a really nice
Cedar
person.
Rapids or,
Yeah. You ever met Madonna?
no, but she's a real bitch.
Tom Waits or Madonna?
Madonna.
Okay. All right, we'll end on that one.
Times 1,000.
Okay.
Son of Sam or Tom Waits?
You imagine Tom Waits
Son of
singing.
Sam.
You imagine Tom Waits singing "Holiday"?
Tom Waits or Kurt Warner?
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner.
I agree.
Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner was a great Iowa story. He just didn't go to Iowa. Oh, he didn't go to Iowa State either. There's no
he
reason to
didn't.
like him. And in fairness, Iowa and Iowa State didn't want him.
In fairness.
Not many people wanted him.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, Molly Suter is next. Thanks for listening, everybody. HawkFanatic.com. Check it out. It's free.
Download the new KCJJ app. Keep up with the latest news, weather, and high school sports. You can send us